Welcome, everybody, to another episode of So What's Been Happening. This one, episode 214. Geez, we got past the 200 pretty quickly. It was a slow climb there for a while, but roaring past now with plenty of episodes still to come, which is really exciting. Get a chance to chat to So Far Sounds, which has been relaunched again in Melbourne, which is really cool after a little hiatus. So that'll be a great chat in a couple of weeks. We get to chat to a band that's causing a stir all around the world called Frenzy. We get to talk to them shortly. And the rest I'm going to leave in the bank for a little while until I can tell you a little more and release it as we go. But tonight, it's all about The Quarantined with Sean Martin. Really exciting name. Gives me tingles a little bit. That whole word around quarantine. Makes me nervous around this time. Geez, it's a real tough world out there at the moment. The word quarantine is probably more relevant than it's ever been right now. But on a positive note, let's kick off with this one. This is so much more relevant right now, but I suppose it's always been relevant. This one, a cover that Sean did a little while ago from Sam Cooke. And this one, A Change Is Gonna Come. Let this one set the scene.
I was born by the river in a little tent, and no, just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know that a change gonna come. Oh yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know that a change gonna come. Oh yes it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know that a change gonna come. Oh yes it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. I couldn't last for long. Now I know I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know that a change gonna come. Oh yes it will.
If that's not one of the most beautiful songs ever put into this world, I'll go he. All right, change's going to come. Sometimes you just got to wait. And it ain't all bad. That change can come. So let's bring him up, Mr. Sean Martin. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Aaron. It's great to be here.
Really cool. And thank you for staying up so early or staying up so late. We take it which way you like.
Sure. Yes, absolutely.
All right. A change is going to come. That's a beautiful way to set the scene here tonight. We've got so much to discuss. I'm not sure this is a podcast interview part one, potentially, of a long journey that we can chat through. But thank you, most importantly, for joining me first and foremost.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
You got so much to talk about, so much to cover. I kind of did a bit of research on this, and thank you for reaching out to me to have a chat on this podcast. A really important one, so much to cover, but I'm sure we won't get through it all. But I thought we'd touch on a couple of starting points of you've been singing since early childhood and writing music from your early teens, I believe. When did you first release music? When did you first realize that music wasn't just something you loved, but something more that you needed?
I would say when I was going to MI at around, probably the first year, 2009, 2010, I started to well, they have these things called LPWs, which is a live performance workshop, where essentially they would take a guitarist, maybe two guitarists, if there's two different guitar parts for the song, a drummer, a bassist, and a vocalist. And they would draw you all up on stage, out of a pool, and you would get up and all play the same song. So I started to do that. At first I was only doing it with, like hard rock songs. So I'd play Ozzy or, some, classic rock, type songs, like, Guns N' Roses. Like, I was very proud of myself when I went out there and did Paradise City. I was very proud of myself. And then I started to get, into, doing like funk LPWs, like playing, like the old Grand Funk Railroads or James Brown or like that kind of stuff. And then I started to start joining, not just in the guitar side, but in the vocal side. And it was when the teacher, when I really put into Stevie Ray Vaughan's Crossroads, or Crossfire. I'm sorry, Crossfire. And I felt, this same fire that I had in playing any of the other song, because like I really connected with the words and I really connected with the song. And after the first verse, I noticed that there was a crowd gathering outside of the room where everybody could see in, and they were all stopping to watch me. And I was like, well, damn, what do you even know about that? And I started to realize that the feeling that I would get from it was exactly the same. And the response when I would start doing things other than just the standard hard rock, other people would be drawn to it. And I'm like, this translates to more than just my feeling. This translates to more than just other people around me. If I can learn how to make this a real part of myself, then apparently I've really got something. And so I just wanted to use all of those emotions, even though I didn't know how to deal with them, and honestly I was dealing with them very poorly, but nonetheless I could figure out a way to channel it. And that was the key thing that made music its thing, is that I learned how to channel all of those feelings into something good and positive, that other people could feel those things. So it wasn't scary to feel the things. They were happy to go along that journey with me.
And on that, what did you learn from that hustle? What sort of teachings made the options for you to survive in music?
Not everybody deserves your trust. Not everybody deserves all of your attention. And it's important in business, to really separate it out from personality. Personally, it's such an important thing to realize that how you represent yourself in a space really does matter. And if you start from a very young time in the music industry, not just to like keep yourself squeaky clean, but to know who you are, so that if you're going to make a statement where you're going to walk in and give someone a middle finger, okay, make sure it's for a good reason. Like don't just pick random enemies just because you can. Learn to pick your battles and go after the things that will help you.
Yeah, that's a good call. And from choirs to a formal vocal training, to punk, grunge, and metal, you've put your hat in many a ring, so to speak. But how did those early foundations shape the way you use your voice today?
Oh, I always wanted to have versatility be a part of what I do. I didn't just want to be caught in one particular genre and have that be the only thing that translates. Music always spoke so much more to me than just one genre, than just one band. I'm one of those people who like, I listen to tons of music, but if you ask me to narrow it down to my top 5, I probably of all time, I probably couldn't. I already tried earlier and I couldn't do it, but I named like 10 other bands that are all like, oh yeah, they're up there. It's all sort of in there, but I found that the language of music is what I learned to ride instead of just genres.
Sure. And this might relate to yourself or also the name The Quarantine, but you're often described as raw, confrontational, and emotionally intense. Some pretty key, good, steadfast values, I think, overall. But how intentional was that as an identity from the very beginning?
It was very intentional. I from the beginning, I wanted to be able to give myself a space to talk about the things that I couldn't talk about. And at that time, that was a lot. That was the majority of my military service. Not only could I not really talk about it, just to other people, but I couldn't face it within myself. So I wouldn't be able to talk about it for very long without getting real pissed off about it. And then that shapes everything and how you talk about it, So it took me a long time to work out everything in therapy. But I knew from the very beginning of this band that I wanted to have it be a band that supports and uses free speech, that that lives and exercises its rights and its values explicitly, so that we can own the same type of semblance of freedom that people in the country genre, for example, take for granted. They just automatically assume that everybody is Star Spangled Awesome. Well, what about living the values? What about showing and demonstrating them? What about not just providing them for yourself, but providing them for the other people around you, even the people you don't like? That's a true American value, much more so than just America, beer, big cowboy hat and truck and beer. Much more so. So that's the kind of thing that I wanted to set up. And in that is a much more real situation than this hypothetical, grandiose, let's fake it till we all make it. No, let's be real. Let's have a real conversation about what these values actually provide for us and what happens when we lose them, because that's much more an important conversation than just truck, beer, girl, dog.
Yep, standard country line. All right. This one is probably going to flick back the clock, and very much what we discussed. Point the finger. Here it is.
Here comes the sick mess. 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 Can't look away from white collar to father. The sentiment is the same. Lobbyists run the world and they don't give a fuck. Rich by democracy for the price of your blood. Information is a family biz. Don't have to be a whisper slaves. No matter what color we skin.
There you go. We've got so much to get through. We'll have to cut a few of these a little short and leave the fans hanging to jump on and investigate a little bit more about the quarantine and Sean Martin. But it goes back a little bit. What can you kind of hear, and what do you feel in that one that you kind of didn't? Have you learned anything from that you didn't learn at the time? You know, where does that sit in the history books for you?
Oh, well, that song holds a special place in my heart. Because and how we went about shooting that music video. Probably people in Australia won't know about this place. So it's a place called the Salton Sea. Maybe you all will maybe know Coachella, all right, around California. Well, just a little bit past Coachella is this small little town called Slab City, and it's right up against this lake that's a toxic lake called the Salton Sea. And it was made to be this, the next Palm Springs. It was going to be some, big development thing. And it's a natural, it was a very small natural spring that they converted into a much larger lake that then became toxic. And the poison around it is in the air. So when you walk up to the lake, your skin starts to burn.
Wow.
You can feel it burning. So the entire time while we're shooting this music video, all of us are like, are you itching? I'm itching. What is this deal? What is, oh yeah, it's the skin getting burned off from the toxic lake that we're right next to. So we're shooting this music video in a very literal sense of the end result of negligence on a massive scale. That just continues to sit there because we don't know anything better to do with it. So it's just rot. And that I thought was a very good place to put that song, because that's what it's trying to say. It's trying to say that it's rotten from the inside. That the things that we're holding on to it are turning to absolute destruction and fascism. And this was in 2012, mind you. So I'm calling that shot like Babe Ruth. But I could still see it coming. I could see that the Republican Party was turning more and more to fascist ideologies, though they didn't have their leader at the time. And eventually, once they found their leader, then it just became obvious and overt. And then everything became apologetics to that. And it's so much worse than what I thought, and we still have yet to see just how bad the consequences of it really are.
Yeah, that line can apply to a few things these days, can't it?
Right. Yes.
All right, let's flick the switch a little bit, and this one is Shadow. Let's go a little deeper. Shadow on my back. There's a shadow kind of everywhere. Sometimes it feels like, but sometimes they cast no shadow. So it's a deep one. But tell us about that song for you, mate. It's a pretty intense one, and it's got some pretty strong lyrics. Tell us a little bit about the history.
Yeah. So I this was actually one of the first songs that I ever wrote for the quarantine, but I put it on a shelf because for a good long time, the other people around me couldn't really play the song. I had to sort of put it down. And then after a while, I'd forgotten so much where I couldn't play it. And so then I had to go back and rediscover it, and put it back together in my fingers. And then that is the version that you hear here. It recorded at Blackbird Studios with Nathan Yarborough, who has done album work with Alice in Chains and Korn and Hailstorm, Evanescence. And the song is about staring down a massive, like you're a tiny human and you're, standing under Galactus, we'll say, just a massive, overwhelming thing. And that's supposed to represent two different elements of that same feeling. One is internal, the other is external. The first internal one, this is what it feels like with PTSD. What I was trying to describe was how it feels to be caged inside your own mind, to be just subject to whatever it is, where it'll take you wherever it goes, and you're just caged along for the ride. And there doesn't seem to be an escape. The pain is just constant. You never get any sleep. You never get, you never feel, sated from hunger. You never feel like you can ever be yourself. You never feel like you get back to a stable version of yourself. You're always reacting to something. You never get on stable footing. And it just feels like you're fighting this never-ending battle. Well, I also wanted to put it as you're staring down a massive tyrannical society that all of their minds are caged, and you're the one on the outside trying to reach them. And shadow is referencing that same invisible hand that's forcing things apart, you apart from them, as well as the internal shadow work that it takes to confront your inner demons so that you could become a better version of yourself and not just be subject to the symptoms of your disorder.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty deep one and multi-layered, very much so. But your experience serving in the U.S. Army, including deployment to Iraq, and most importantly, thank you for doing that, and doing that so we can be free. Honestly,
Thank you.
Just want to touch on that first. It's a huge part of your music and your story. How did that change the way you write and process your emotions and outlets through music now?
The whole Army experience.
Yeah. And the world of PTSD and all the knock-on effects of life in general. Obviously, music is a real outpouring of emotion for you and documents a story. But kind of how do you find you deal with music as an outpouring of those thoughts and practices, I guess?
Well, music is the thing that helps me connect back to myself. So I can pick up any one of those guitars and connect right back to a version of myself that knows exactly how to sing those things. Like I can pick up and play Crossroads, the first song that I ever learned, and sing it exactly the same way that I learned it back 20 some odd years ago. And music, it's partially muscle memory because I just played it so often. It was like the first or second song that I learned. I thought it was like the only song for a good long time. I'm sure the other people listening to it were like, there's got to be another song that he's playing. I mean, come on, please play something else. But I'm sure as many of our parents, teaching young kids know, you got to sit through and listen to Smoke on the Water for 10,000 times if you want them to actually play something of, greater than that. So,
Sure.
so, music, once I learned that, that representing the emotions was something that gave people a frame of reference and a palette. It was also, very much, when I could tap into the voice, into the singing voice to really project something and do it. So you're not straining anything. There's a real power behind that. And I can feel it move me. I can feel it give me those little tingles every once in a while. When I get done just right, I'll give myself the tingles. And that's when I know, oh, I did that right, because the body doesn't lie. When I do it wrong, I don't get the tingles. But when I do, then even I can feel it. And I'm supposed to be, operating beside it, but it still affects me nonetheless. And so that's how I know that I guess I'm still human.
Absolutely, you are. And those tingles come whether you're recording or whether you're performing it live on stage. But nothing better than feeling that energy from a crowd, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those truly indescribable things. It's like you really had to be there. You really did. It's a unique and special moment. And a lot of times, I'm jealous of a lot of people who can go and stand in crowds, because I can't. I don't have the still have the skills to be able to just sit in the middle of a crowd and be totally fine. I have zero ability to do that. I'll be up on stage. I could be over in a corner standing against the wall, but in the middle of the crowd, no.
Yeah, it's a whole different story.
Right.
Now, you've spoken openly about PTSD in amongst a lot of the interviews and stuff you've done before. Homelessness, recovery, lots of things. It's been a journey, fair to say, and continues to be, like everything is in life. What role did songwriting play for you in keeping you as grounded as possible during all those periods?
Oh, I mean, immensely so. It especially in writing Antiquate Hate, that really was a expression of what I wanted to see in the world. I wanted to demonstrate how to be the change, to give an example, to stand up to something that deserved to be stood up to, even if it was us, even if it was my own country. I feel like if I fought for it, I should be able to criticize it. And in fact, I may be, of a select group that knows better than most what to criticize and why. So we have that unique perspective, but music is what makes it universally accessible. And songwriting, in this case, has its very specific discipline. It's not script writing. It's not, playwriting. It's not painting. It's got a very specific process. Everything has a process. And once you tap into how that goes about in you, the creation of it just becomes fun. And it's just another thing that you do. You don't think about, oh, this is what songwriting is doing for me. It's sort of just, you're getting in the songwriting car and you end up there and you're like, oh yeah, I'm driving that thing, whatever, that's just how I get around, yeah.
But that's it's one of those moments where you're in that though, right? Not working on it. You're in that moment. So you maybe don't realize how impactful that moment is later.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, that is the thing. It's like, you do not realize just how important that moment for you really is. Because I remember writing the lyrics to these songs and getting the final copy of it in my shit apartment in Burbank, and hearing all the cop cars and everything going outside, and watching the hookers walking down the street and everything, and be like, this is what I'm writing about. This right here. This is America. And it's that songwriting, all those songwriting tricks and everything, and all of the things that I learned from MI, were just part of describing the world. That's what I put on myself to do. It's just describe the world. I don't need to tell everybody exactly how I feel all the time. I don't even know how I feel all the time. Like the PTSD is pulling me out. Half the time, my body is telling me I'm extremely angry. My mind is saying you're completely calm. My mind is telling me I'm need to get the hell out of here, and everything else is telling me you're at a party. What the hell are you freaking out for?
Yeah, that's pretty full on, right? Yeah. All right, this one, Aversion to Normalcy. This is the latest. We kind of feel like that a lot of the time, right? Gas mask, not able to look, not able to think, not able to breathe. It's a big part of the world right now, but we're going to play another clip, this one from it, called Unspoken. Here it is.
What is relevant about this is that whereas 40 years ago when I was born, the question of having to deal with what is unspoken by the subjugate, what is never said to the master, we're having to deal with this reality, very remote possibility with no one's mind. When I was growing up, I was taught in American history books that Africa has no history, and neither did I. That I was a savage, and I wouldn't the less said the better, enslaved by Europe and brought to America. Everyone else seems to agree. If you walk out of Harlem, ride out of Harlem, downtown, the world agrees. What you see is much bigger, cleaner, richer, safer than we are. And of course I believed it. I didn't have much choice.
Reading whispers on the wind, sky the writings on the wall. Sweet stale jump through that made has gone indeed seen you all. Next to that make a hole, feast your lives for the day. Your own needs keep you locked in chains, and that's how it's gonna stay. Leave the age of information. Ignorance is a choice. You know we've had it all along. When systems fail, then this is what I tell you. When your heart is in the lines unspoken, never trust in your eyes. You gotta listen to your world sometimes if you wanna see through the lies. Sometimes it's in the lines unspoken we lose ourselves first. You gotta listen to your world sometimes, or unspoken life could be your last.
Unspoken, hey? Let's talk about the unspoken, because it's a big word and a big line, big title for a song. But what do you think when listeners say to you that their music kind of helped them feel seen or less alone? How does that sit with you as an artist?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's what it's for.
Mm.
It's I hope that that's what people get out of it when they listen to it. This song in particular is about it's about recognizing the longevity of racism in America. It's because it starts with James Baldwin telling us about 40 years ago, from at the time when he was speaking was 1965. So he's talking about the 1920s to a bunch of people who weren't living at that point. He's talking to, college students at Cambridge University and trying to explain to them what it was like to have zero rights and being told that you do when you don't in actuality. And what it was like to live as a second-class citizen, a third-class citizen in a country in which you could go and serve and die in Vietnam and still be treated, come back and be called boy. And nowadays, our racism is just expressed in different ways, and it's become more and more overt, especially now with the Voting Rights Act being gutted in the U.S. Supreme Court just recently. I watched with absolute dismay, and I'm sure James Baldwin would be probably uncharacteristically wanting to punch a TV. I'm sure if he was alive at this point, to see all of that work and all of that goodwill would probably be unsurprising to him, but nonetheless extremely unsettling.
Yeah. You touch on plenty of topics in amongst the stuff you write, but politics obviously being one, addiction, religion, war. Your lyrics somewhat confront uncomfortable realities for people, including yourself potentially. Do you see that the quarantine as a form of a protest, a therapy, or documentation, or a combination of all of those?
Really, a combination of all of them. Really, it's really if I can do either of those three things with a song, I feel like I've succeeded. I've created something that's not just mindless dance music. I've created something that you can listen back to it at any point in time, at any point in history, and it should still have a relevance. Either the problem hasn't been solved and you're still dealing with it, and that means the advice that I give into it should still be absolutely relevant to what you're talking about. It doesn't matter if it's 20 years or 200 years in the future. Or if it's been solved, you can listen to it and go, oh man, isn't it great how we don't have to deal with racism anymore? Wouldn't that be fantastic? See what I mean?
Yep.
So then
Absolutely.
we can give ourselves that, it's either one or the other, but nonetheless, it's always going to be something that inspires conversation, that inspires critical thinking, that gives people a reason to investigate their world. Even if you disagree with me, you still have to go and try to prove me wrong. Then you still got to go learn.
Very true. All right, here's another one for you. The Anti-Evangelist. Here it is.
And cheap boots and denim, standing on a corner, not knowing what they selling. Hot pink, not scared to be seen with the villain. While a pimp rolls around in a rented Escalade, I see you dreaming life began, you got it made. But flipping the verb in life made me renegade. No question what to do if it fades away. Dreaming and scheming, these demons are screaming holy hell to bring fat assholes to reason. Trick the fountain of youth you see in your scope, like a shaky reality that you hold out with hope. So we send it to the ether and figure it's dope. Will I fall out and back down now? Fucking nope. Dreaming of a better life like a ring you can't find. I'm sick of sharing what goes on in my mind. Too many try to think but just don't know. where my life is going and how it'll flow. It's like a backwards process to keep you on your toes. Oppressive assess, too much my life is in tow. Behind them, like them, the baggage they carry. Like a man in a fight, just trying to be daring. He'll stand up and put his name on a dotted line, knowing damn well that it's not alright. That sick and empty feeling he gives into at night, drinking himself to death over the Bill of Rights. He gave up his freedoms to reach for something greater than rather be a victim of a system sequestered. They fight like Rocky but never hit leather, only to be found dead in the nether. I'm not a prophet, I'm not a hero, just trying to bring my life back to zero. And can I say just what might change my life? An anti-evangelist on a daily grind, yeah. Evangelism is like cannibalism when you force your beliefs and choke hold the provisions, cutting up a way of life for so many, just so you can feel like they owe you plenty. Well, I see you out of a different kind. If your truth is evident, then why you so fucking blind? It's another way and it don't involve force, because your policy on life is scorched earth. Now, what should you say when the world keeps you down? And everything you do be aggravating them clowns. That's why they fill a bandwagon every time with holy books, not bombs to destroy your mind. I've looked hard at this life for a rhyme and a reason, found meant to nirvana, and to me that's pleasing. These fucks are brain dead in all four seasons, not ever having a clue, you're still thinking. I'm not a prophet, I'm not a hero, just trying to bring my life back to zero. And can I say just what might change a mind? Like an anti-evangelist on a daily grind, yeah.
There you go, on a daily grind, hey? Just trying to bring your life back to a zero. Jeez, that's a powerful line. Tell to us about what that means to you.
Yeah. So at that point, it was about judgment and accountability. It was also about living life like you're constantly in debt. And to me, that was supposed to be the line that's sort of describing the inverse of religion, that you're constantly have to give and give and give and give and give and give and give. But in the end, you still have to live with yourself. You still have to wake up every morning and do your thing. So you, in the end, you owe this debt, but you're constantly trying to do good deeds to get your life back to zero. So you can, but in the end, it's, maybe pointless, because who knows if there actually is a afterlife. And it's about, the song is really then about inspiring the option to speak up for what you see as the truth in the world, and sharing that with people instead of just biting on with everyone else, going your own route, instead of being a evangelist for somebody else. Be the anti-evangelist and be for yourself. Invest in yourself. Give yourself the capacity for critical thought to improve yourself on a daily basis. Make that your goal, and then you'll see just how much you really do grow. That's really what the song is about, and it's sharing stories of people avoiding that. That's what the first verse is what the second verse is describing. Evangelism is like cannibalism if you force your beliefs and chokehold the provisions. So if you're holding other people back, then really, what are you doing but just destroying things for the sake of your God? So I wanted to get in the face of this kind of evangelical thing and say, and put a finger in their chest and say, how do you know what you're doing is right? How do you know beyond just God telling you so? Can you point to things and evidence in this world that says that you're making it better, or are you really just ignoring everything else to make yourselves feel better about a broken world? Which is the easy catharsis. That's what we all want to do. We want to be able to ignore the shit that is bad and focus on the stuff that is good. Unfortunately, the people who are stuck in the bad don't get that luxury. We have to then work with what is shit and turn nothing into something. And that's what the entire album is really about.
Yeah, trying to get that balance, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. You once wrote about creating art in a digital first industry. It's pretty important in today's world, right? How's your relationship with technology, streaming, social media evolved since then? Obviously, you're pretty dynamic and pretty open, very much so, to get yourself out there and be questioned and criticized and all those things on social media like you do. But talk to us about, getting some cut through in today's world as well.
I do my best to try and understand where people are coming from. I also do understand that a lot of people don't know how to express their anger beyond childish, stupid ways. And I've sort of learned to let a lot of that go and just let the people go as well. A lot of times I would get caught up on potential. A lot of times I would get caught up on what I think this person could be, instead of accepting them showing me exactly who they are. And now I just let people show me exactly who they are, and I go bye when it's stupid. I don't try to change them or convince them differently. I don't try to give them the wisdom that they're not ready for. I don't try to help them out of the tying their one hand behind their back because they think it's cool. No, I don't try to good job, dude. Keep going. You'll be fine, moron. That's how I have to live my life, because otherwise it's just too goddamn exhausting. Trying to convince people to take the knife out of their back that they've been putting there over and over and over again just because someone is telling them to do it is not a battle that I want to sit there and fight every single day for the rest of my life. It was already hard enough on my own. It's so hard to try and be your brother's keeper. It truly is. It truly is. However, instead of taking on that problem directly, music is the thing that can make that indirect effect on the world. Sooner or later, these influences are not things that are going to be coming directly from me, but from other people who are inspired by the morals and values and principles that I demonstrate, and that other people demonstrate in actual use. That's what's going to change people. But the music is one of those lines along the way. So we have a chance, just a chance. You don't have to take on the entire world, but you can take on that chance of giving yourself the ability to say what you really mean, to represent yourself authentically, and to give the world at least a little bit of truth, at least your truth. And sooner or later, they'll be able to see themselves in it.
Yeah, well spoken. Very true, very true. You got to be brave. You got to be brave to make that confrontation, I guess, with yourself sometimes.
Right. Yeah, I think that's first. I think that confronting yourself first and being honest with what you believe, how you came to believe it. Very, very important. Because then you can start to see where the manipulation is. Because in this world, there's manipulation, there's coercion, and there's persuasion. Only one of them is done with your consent. But the world is full of all three. You've got to figure out which one it is. And if you don't, well, you're just going to always be a rube then, won't you? This is the world that we're living in. It's not a nice one. It's not one that's meant for you to succeed. It's one that's meant to have you be down in the dirt and down in the gutter and have everybody be kicking you just because. That's what this world is meant. That's what it's designed for. We have to operate in spite of that.
Yep, we've got a term known in Australia as the tall poppy syndrome. And just when you start getting a little bit big and you pop your head up, that's when someone's ready to cut you down.
Yeah,
that's the analogy there. So, what do you think's more challenging for you? Being brutally honest in your lyrics and your songwriting, or living with the aftermath of once you've released it into the world and then dealing with that conversation, I guess, positive or negative?
The second part of that, I'm not worried about that at all, because by that time I've already steel-manned my argument by that point.
Has that been a journey for you though? Has it always been that, or is that something you've grown with?
Like criticism.
No, it's being able to put it out there and being as honest as you are with your lyrics and everything you say and value, or is that almost a learnt behavior, so to speak, as far as you've grown into that and you've pushed it with more confidence?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how to answer that, to be honest.
Because we're not really born with confidence, right? Let's put it that way. We're like we discussed before, we're criticized, we're knocked down, you know, we're kind of questioned on what a lyric and a song should be. For you, you know, a lot of your lyrics are around lived experience, and also what you've learned in amongst all that. So, you know, do you feel like that's, you know, you've been braver now in the latter part of your songwriting in especially the last few kind of albums and songs? You know, you're also talking post-military, you know, stuff. You've gone through a big journey, and you continue to go through a big journey. It's a battle. It's not a 5-minute fix. Some of these things you've gone through with PTSD and others. It's an ongoing journey and an outpouring of reflection, and it's a body of work, and it's going to continue to be a body work. And just on behalf of everyone that surrounds themselves with you, Sean Martin, that sees that, I just want to thank you, man, for doing that work, because without that, a change isn't going to come, right? As we touched on before. So keep being you, man. Keep doing everything you can. Keep writing music. Keep inspiring all of us. For every punter that's ever been to one of your gigs, and marvels at what artists can do, largely unrewarded financially for sure. But thank you for doing what you do. Continue it.
Well, thank you. That's really, really wonderful of you to say that. That's fantastic, man. I mean, I really, really appreciate that. It's really been a journey that, you know, it takes bravery and courage, but that was something that I knew that I had.
Yep.
And that if I had already gone through the process to do it, I might as well have the courage to say it, and to live it and to be it. And that it's something that I succeed and fail at depending on the day, you know, but the idea is to strive towards it, so that eventually we'll get there, and maybe we won't even know it, just because it'll become second nature.
Yep. We don't get it right every day. But the good news is we're hoping that change is going to come, and we wake up in the morning and we get to have another shot at it. And that's the most important thing for people that are struggling. And this episode has touched on plenty of those things. So people that are struggling, please feel like you can reach out to someone, have a chat. Most importantly, be able to be comfortable with yourself, putting your head down on that pillow, getting some rest, most important, body healing and mental healing, and wake up a stronger, better you tomorrow, because that's really important in today's world. There's so much shit coming at us, and sometimes it's hard to see through that, see through those big clouds, that the sun will shine again for all of us. So I urge everyone that hasn't spoken to a friend for a while, that hasn't heard from someone, pick up the phone tomorrow or reach out to them any way you can. Text message will I don't advise text message, to be perfectly honest. I go with the old school, pick up the phone and have a conversation, because you can pick it up, and you can pick it up in someone's voice sometimes that they need help or they need a conversation. It might be just that moment that breaks them out of the cycle that they're in. So a really important chat tonight, most importantly. But Aversion to Normalcy. It's a big title. It challenges the very idea of what's considered normal. What does that word mean to you now? Normal in today's world?
Well, I there's always a classic thing where there is no normal. But in this case, I'm using it as a definitive. I'm using it to establish the current order, the status quo. And the aversion to normalcy is the line that I have to go along with it that makes it a little bit more, sheds a little bit more understanding on the perspective of it, is when tyranny becomes the norm, in order to survive, you'll need an aversion to normalcy. And that's to set up that when your environment becomes psychotic, when your world and everything around you becomes totally stupid and weird, not operating normally, not doing the, we'll say, common sense thing. In this case, I'm more referencing Thomas Paine common sense and less what you believe to everyone else to believe, right? What are the responsibilities of a free person in a free society facing down tyranny? That's the situation that aversion to normalcy is making people confront.
Yep. All right. You've stayed independently owned, which is a big thing in today's world, and creative autonomously, very much so. Why has that been kind of a non-negotiable for you?
Because I've been ever since I have been told that I had talent, people have been trying to own me. People have been trying to control me. People have been trying to make me, succumb to them. And after a while, I recognize the pattern, and I'm just like, no more. I'm not going to build my career for my music that I almost died for multiple times and give it up to some Yahoo who's, going to decide whatever it is that's supposed to go along with that. No, I didn't go through everything that I've gone through just to give up the most important aspect of the pie to just some dude with a suit. So at that point, I had to become fiercely independent. I had to become the business person that, oh, you want to do business with me? Great. Now I'm going to put you through 10,000 tests because I don't trust you. You want to come to me and act like you can do something for me? Great. Demonstrate it. You can't? Fuck off. Nothing personal, but fuck off. It's really, really important to have those kinds of boundaries in this industry and to be that cutthroat with this stuff, because truly everybody else is sitting there waiting for the opportunity where you let your neck show a little bit. That's how it is. That's how it is. And so if you walk around always covering your neck, you're not going to get sliced nearly as often. So, I have said a lot to people that the most important member of your band is your lawyer. And I think it should also go along with the, in the music industry, there's about 50% of people who are either actively or passively or will eventually try to rip you off. 50%. So you really got to know how to read people. And if you don't know how to read people, you got to put them through a process to where they show you who they are. And then you got to believe them.
Mm.
And
That's
it's
not
tough,
easy.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's not fucking easy. It is one of the hardest things to do.
Yep.
It's not see people by what they tell you, but what they do. We don't want to think that people are actively smiling at your face with a knife ready to stab you in the back, but people do. And I've already had it done to me in my career multiple times. And I've had many people who have helped me and, facilitated and have done really wonderful things to help me progress forward. And it's been a very mutually beneficial exchange of services and goods. And I've had, just things that worked great because the people behind it were good people. And I've also had where the people are absolute dog shit. They are just horrible human beings, and they are lying their faces off when they say, we're looking out for you. We want to be your friend. They are lying their faces off. And it only comes when the chips are down is when you see how it really goes. And that is not difficult. I'm sorry. It's extremely difficult.
Mm.
It is one of the hardest things to do because it's your life, but it's also a business. And those people aren't seeing it like it's your life. They're seeing it like it's their business. It's important to understand other people's perspective so that you don't lose your damn mind, because it's going to be really easy to when you got 50%. 50%.
All right. This one kind of sums it up. Feeding your lies.
This rage out. Been in a cage for a while and had to break out. Stop the no spin now, bring the truth back in. Don't wanna brag, but I've been living in sin. Oh shit, I forgot now where to begin. I'll try to explain who the fuck could ever listen. Cause y'all have your head up your ass, allow me to unmask the congressionals, the true professional liars and thieves, rich police, and the criminals. I say replace them all, no residuals since 80% of us hate their guts. Yes, now I'll be on my fucking knees and cuffs to sink and silence you on the suspicion alone. Just step to the mic, chip and put two in your dome, yeah. They put two in your dome. Come on. Get some scream. There's a body full of bullet holes and a world full of criminals. They think control your subliminal. Their greatest crime is treating you the lies. There's a body full of bullet holes. When a world full of criminals hit you, they think control your subliminal. Their greatest crime is treating you the lies. There's holes deeper than nobody will ever know, filled with broken dreams, demons and lost souls, but nobody breathes a word. The focus is set. They force you to put your life on a losing bet. Pipe dreams, they scream our national song. Not asking how much blood is on the White House lawn. Why so many of our poor have to fight and die when you can't figure out if it's wrong or right? So before you go jumping around, all American, remember who had to die on your blood errands. Congress doesn't give a shit. That's apparent. Makes fun of a while ago. Have some coherence. They use religious ignorance to keep you on that red herring, leading you to the meat grinder, empty and staring, while the brown shirts you thought fading away or alive and well. Take it over today. Then take it over today. Yeah, some scream. There's a body full of bullet holes and a world full of criminals. They think control your subliminal. Their greatest crime is treating you the lies. There's a body full of bullet holes and a world full of criminals. Can you? They think control your subliminal. Their greatest crime is treating you the lies.
There you go. Feeding you the lies. Jeez, there's a lot of feeding lies around these days.
Oh yeah, much more so than when I actually wrote the song, to be honest.
Mm.
I mean, this song came out in 2016, and we were just on the cusp of the president telling 35,000 confirmed lies in one term, which is unheard of. Completely. I mean, if he wants to have world records, he can take that world record. I'm pretty sure.
Has it been beaten?
I'm pretty sure it hasn't. He may have only surpassed it with the second term. But nonetheless, the idea of the song is, not just about pantheonizing lying. It's about recognizing that the entire system itself is based off of a lie. And that lie is that only white landowning Americans are allowed to have any sort of power whatsoever. And then that is only transferred up instead of translated down. So we don't have any power at the lower levels anymore. We have to rely on a fourth estate that does not give a shit about telling the truth, and in fact refuses to actually give us real information because it might inspire us to learn instead of be entertained. We have a Congress now that is way worse than when I wrote this song, that actively does not show up for votes at all. We have an absurd situation with our representative democracy that really needs to be looked at, because that's the tenement of our entire society that makes our social contract work. Because if we don't have a representative democracy, it's only a matter of time until it all crumbles down, because eventually the regular people are going to stop wondering why they're getting fucked, and they're going to start showing up with guns demanding that they fuck you. It's going to be real different when that power dynamic changes. And all it takes is some determination and an AK-47. I've seen it before. So it's really important that people in power realize just how that they're going to be the first ones to die when the revolution comes. They're going to be the first ones. They're not going to be on the hedge of some, front line. They're just going to be gone, because that's what an angry mob does. So this song is talking about the most serious conflict that we have, and that is the fight against tyrannical lies versus authentic truth. And can we share authentic truth even at our own expense in order to create a greater good, which is the classic trade-off that we did to have law and order. That is not asking anyone to do something that hasn't already been done before. We've been doing it for the last 250 years. And it's only now that our country has decided, what is law really? I mean, is it really important? Do we really need to have a president who's a 34-time felon and a rapist? Should we put him in prison, or should we just let him be president? And they chose to just let him be president. And to me, that's unacceptable. It's an unacceptable choice.
Yep. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
All right. Let's spin this one a little bit more positive, back to the quarantines.
Sorry to get all down, guys. I am a super serious head, but yeah.
No, mate, it's important to put that out there for sure. Now, obviously, you've been able to reach plenty of people, millions of views in amongst your social media, music, streaming, all sorts of things, and growing a lot of international attention. How do you balance the momentum with staying kind of true to your original intent? Do you feel like you can stay true to that original intent, or do you not? And that can be persuaded by influence, once that starts to grow and outside influences come on. But I think I've kind of already heard that from you in relation to not letting that outside force in anymore.
Yeah. There's boundaries. But I I tailored my music and my persona and everything that I am to me. So I brought the music industry to me instead of me going to the music industry and saying, like me. I found the things that I knew would resonate. And I'm slowly building the infrastructure to facilitate that on my terms instead of on their terms. And that's a very, very important thing, because what that takes is patience. I have to wait, tactically wait for a lot of different things, but that doesn't mean I'm inactive. It means that I find the different things that I can do to move myself forward. Even if I can't make major, huge decisions, I can still set myself up to make big moves later on. So even when you're in a space of inactivity, you still find something that you can do to move yourself forward. And I felt in the message of the music, it's been me. I don't have to try to say these things. I'm speaking on what I know. And when I don't know, I shut the fuck up.
Yeah. That's odd in today's world, hey? People are very quick to give an opinion that they don't know nothing about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm happy to go around and verbally smack the shit out of someone for speaking and not knowing. I'm perfectly happy to do that. Because I feel like it's deserved. I'm not going to be, I already gave people a shit ton of patience with that. And now I have seen the detriment of it in society. So no more. I don't give anybody any quarter. They say something stupid, I'm going to call you stupid. I'm going to tell you what you said was absolutely stupid. And here's why. And here's the evidence that proves that it's absolutely stupid. And if they say, I'm still going to be stupid, and I'm going to say, guess what? You're stupid. And walk away.
Time's ticking. There's no time for stupid.
There's better things in life to do than to sit there and be worried about somebody not getting or understanding what you're putting down. It's much more important to start to rally the people who are already on the same page, because right now we need to start creating community. We need to start creating a sense of that just because you feel like this world is a little bit odd, that doesn't make you odd. Just because you feel like this world is not, there's something definitely wrong with this world and this society and how it's all put. You're not crazy. You're not out of your mind. You're onto something. You're about to learn. See, confusion, it means you're about to learn something. You shouldn't be afraid of confusion. Confusion means you're about to learn. So when you run into confusion with an open heart and understanding your boundaries and understanding the principles of the three different kinds of coercion you have: manipulation, coercion, and persuasion. Which one is it? When you walk into a room with those kinds of things as your armor and shield, then that's a hell of a lot better than just, letting people lead you wherever you go based on your emotions. That's the best way to get manipulated. So I want to give people that and show people that. And I know that people are already onto this. I want to give them a sense to know that principle of living your life is exactly what we're all about. And from there, we can start creating a network of people who truly do give a shit. And they can show it. They don't have to pay dues to give a shit. You can just already be giving a shit, and it contributes to something.
Yep. Well said, Mr. Sean Martin.
Thank you.
This has been a great chat. We'll finish off with a couple of things. Looking ahead, what do you still feel compelled and obligated to say that you haven't already said? You've said a lot in amongst your world so far.
Oh, I don't know. There's still so much left to say and talk about. I mean, I could say directly, Instagram Hell is on the way. So we have a new single, Instagram Hell, and that's going to be talking about how stupid health hacks from Instagram, how stupid they really are, and how it's contributing to a culture of idiocy, and we're all subject to it, instead of it being subject to us. So that's what Instagram hell is about. So I guess I'll be having more to say about social media society, but I think that in general, I've still got a long career ahead of me to say all kinds of things that'll get me into all kinds of trouble. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to making that good trouble.
Yep. There's always good trouble. Was never perceived as good trouble, but stirring emotion, stirring conversation, and talking about lived experiences is really important. So, Sean Martin, I thank you for everything you're doing, shaking up the world a little in your own special way. What advice can you give to a musician in general, whether it be young or old, cutting through or coming through? What's your kind of imparting words that you could give to a musician that's just not lost in their way, but just is trying to find their way?
If you know you have musical talent, use AI to start doing your business administration. Don't let it into the creative arena. You don't need it. Use AI to start connecting the parts of your right brain that your creative side just won't let you do to the left side, where you're constantly thinking about all of the different chord progressions and the different ways to play your scales and all of that shit. Start using AI as the secretary that it's supposed to be. Stop being afraid of that. That's what it's there for. It can be your best friend, and it can help you start to think about things in a different way than you wouldn't have been able to think of on your own, because as a musician, you're not thinking about the marketing aspect of the song. You're thinking about creating the song. You're thinking about making it a statement, making it what it needs to be sonically, mentally, psychologically, all of these different aspects. Marketing is for some robot, and that's the some robot. Use it.
Yep.
Use it.
Yep, beautifully said, and well summed up. We could talk again, and we will, when you release your next single or album. We're going to finish with The End. Just give us a little teaser into the song The End, and then we'll finish the chat.
Oh yeah, so this is honestly one of my favorites from Antiquate Hate. It was recorded at Ultimate Studios Inc. in Los Angeles, and it was nominated for an Independent Music Award in 2016. And it was very exciting. I went to the ceremony. They had it at a side room off of Lincoln Center, and it was really an amazing experience, one that I will never forget. The people who I met there, we got to sit around for 3 days and just hang out with all of these independent artists who are all doing the exact same thing. They're all making art in their music in their own independent way. And, I'd be sitting across from, a hardline jazz poet with just a visual artist, to one of the biggest artists in independent artists in Oklahoma, to some of the best rappers from Houston. It's like, when are we ever going to get together again? And of course, who knows when we ever would. But for those 3 days in New York, we were able to talk about everything that we wanted to with each other. And we made some great connections. People who I still talk to this day. And so this song really holds a special place in my heart, because it opened up that whole new world of seeing that you're not the only one who's doing this. And in fact, there's so many different ways to go about living an independent artist lifestyle that you never even thought of before. And so it was really eye-opening.
So the question is this the end, or is it the beginning?
Oh no, this song is it keeps it going, man. That's why it's a question mark, because guess what? My questions usually end up, yeah, it is. Is it gonna be like that?
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is. That's
Yeah.
usually how it goes. So this song is about the absolute destruction, but it's also asking, really? That's really what you want? Are you sure about that? You sure? That's what the song is.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for joining me on episode 214 of So What's Been Happening. Let's do this again soon, and let's talk about what else is ticking in your world.
Absolutely. Thanks, man. I really appreciate you for having me. This has been a great show. I really appreciate it.
Great. We'll talk soon. Here it is, the end.
Seeing it another way is deathly too slow. Never ending it seems. Never visit clean effects. The sunset leaves unfulfilled dreams. Sorrow unbridled in a drunken swill. Catch me if you can see the bear, but still unbound and free from the many. We're pining for a penny on the sidewalk, land of the plenty. Down in a hole, the very few know it's a crapshoot. A chess game of souls get owned. I'm back for the head fuckers 3 times running. Don't forget you fucking owe me something. To rest. If you knew my thoughts, my friend, you'd think it's best. Been told 10 million times before, but I'll never learn. Make this world a better place. I'd rather watch it burn. Watch it burn.
There you go. I want it all, just like you do. What a great line. All right. Thank you once again, Sean Martin from The Quarantine, for joining me. Here it is, The Quarantine. There's a little link, quarantine.com. Please make sure you jump on and check it out. We purposely didn't play full-length tracks tonight because we most importantly wanted to inspire you to jump on and reach out and see more. It's a hell of a journey Sean Martin's been on, and I urge you to dig deep into his story. It's a good one. It's an honest, good story that we can learn a hell of a lot from. So get involved. Most importantly, send this off to someone else. There'll be an audio version of this podcast as well as the one that sits on YouTube, and some little social media clips and snippets that we'll put up along the time to keep this one relevant. But most importantly, thank you for jump on our link tree. It's what's been happening, and reach out to someone that you hadn't spoken to for a while, as we discussed, and get them along to a gig, because ultimately live music changes your world. It needs to be in our world. It has to be in our world. It's a pretty quiet world without it. We'll see you out there.